Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for GWBC Radio's Open for Business. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of GWBC Open for Business. Today we have with us Jessica Lowery with the Power of Elderberries. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Well, before we get too far into things, tell us about the elderberry. What kind of a plant, fruit is that?
Yeah, so elderberries are actually native to Europe, Africa, parts of Asia. They contain many vitamins, nutrients, and immensely high amounts of what are called anthocyanins. And those are a natural compound with powerful antioxidant effects. In fact, Hippocrates, the ancient Greek, otherwise known as the father of medicine, referred to elderberries as his medicine chest because they appear to be a cure-all for so many different health ailments. They've been one of the top antiviral herbs on our planet. They are known for boosting the immune system, as well as having antiviral, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory effects, along with powerful antioxidant properties that prevent cellular damage to our bodies. And in fact, elderberries are rich in what are called anthocyanins. They're actually the pigments that give elderberries that rich coloring they have. And in addition, they act as antioxidants to fight free radicals in our body and help support the human immune system.
Now, is it a berry that, like a raspberry or a strawberry, that anybody can just pick and eat, and that's how you consume this? Or is it you have to consume it in another way?
Well, they've been around for thousands of years. In fact, meeting people at the farmers market, they often talk about how they grew up with elderberries, making jams and jellies and wine and all kinds of different stuff. But they can actually be toxic to consume without being cooked first. So the health benefits really come with the process in which we use them, which is a cooking process with making our products.
So now, how did elderberries enter your life? What brought you to them?
So honestly, the Power of Elderberries is a business that I never saw coming. To kind of take it back a little bit, back in 2013, I got pregnant. And I was pregnant with flu symptoms, and I was at the doctor's office and just really wanting a natural alternative to my flu symptoms. And that's really what helped me find elderberries online. And I got my hands on some elderberry syrup. And after taking it, I was back to work the very next day. So I've always been into natural alternatives. I had 3 natural childbirths, and I wanted a natural approach to combat my symptoms. And that's when I first discovered elderberries, and elderberry syrup particularly.
And then, but what was kind of the leap from there, being a consumer of it, to I'm going to start a business around it?
Well, I wanted control over the quality of ingredients used, the safety of the product, as well as the taste of the product. So I started creating my own. And from there, I shared the so many benefits with my friends on Facebook because I wanted to spare other parents, missing time from work, paying for sick doctor's visit, and just that helplessness that comes over you when your kids are sick, especially when it comes to viral infections. And that's when, the Power of Elderberries was founded and has since just exploded organically.
So now, how did you go about just being a person in your house, kind of experimenting, to having a business where you're actually, creating this for other people in a safe manner? Yeah,
so I was actually a full-time lecturer at Coastal Carolina University at the time, also with 3 young children. So it made, growing this business particularly daunting in the early days. However, when I looked into the eyes of just desperate mothers with sick children and started to begin witnessing the relief that the elderberry syrup was bringing to countless families in our community, I really saw no turning back. And really, it's been the customer testimonials that keeps us pushing forward. In fact, I'll never forget one of our customers, Connie. She walked up to me with just tears streaming down her face. And as she wrapped her arms around me, she said, "Thank you for creating such an amazing product. This product has saved my life." And it's just people like that that's why we're doing this. And then I have customers like Ernesta. She's got a 16-year-old daughter who has fought year-round horrible allergies. And since taking the Power of Elderberries, she has been completely off her allergy shots. And then we have people like Lynn, she's a nurse and believer of our syrup. And she said within 48 hours after starting the Power of elderberry syrup, her husband's cough was completely gone. So it's really just been the customer testimonials that really, shook me up and said, I felt like God has called me to this business to help people. And we saw that it was obviously working for people, and on the prevention side, as well as combating symptoms in a natural alternative, and took this leap of faith, and here we are.
Right. I understand that a lot of people like it and are benefiting from it, according to the anecdotal evidence that you've shared. How do you go from kind of a lay person who isn't a manufacturer of a product that people are consuming to learning how to even do that in a safe manner? Like, how did you have mentors? Were you going to other plants on how to produce this in a scalable manner? Like, how did you kind of get your learning curve solved? Because this seems like a pretty complex. You have to get the materials, you have to turn it into another material, a syrup, and then you have to bottle it and share it in a manner that's safe throughout the whole process. It requires a lot of technology and skill and equipment that I don't know a lay person typically doesn't have at their disposal. So how did you kind of begin the journey as a business person?
Yeah, that's a great question. It started with me ordering up ingredients to start producing my own for my own family. And from there, the recipe has changed from what I initially found online to get me started to handcrafting and producing and making my own recipe to make it unique and what my kids liked, because I need to have them like the taste of it. And that was the problem I was running into, is I just wanted better control over the ingredients, the quality, the taste. And then so I started making it in my home kitchen, and I was just inundated with orders within the community. The referral network was just skyrocketing here in our county. And I knew I was onto something. And then my husband and I, we'd be up from 7 o'clock at night after putting the kids to bed to 3 o'clock in the morning, making the syrup. It was about an 8-hour process, bottling it, refrigerating it. And then it got to the point where we're like, we really should reach out to someone that has some expertise behind this. So we reached out to a friend of ours that he's actually a chef. And so we knew that he had knowledge behind what equipment was going to be best for us to use to make it more efficient and things like that. And so bringing him in our home kitchen and using him to help guide us through this process definitely helped. But what really started getting it off the ground running was landing a commercial facility. I didn't want to be making it out of my home kitchen. I didn't even feel comfortable doing that. If I were to put myself in the shoes of consumers just for like hygiene and safety of the product and everything, it's like, if we're going to do this, we got to figure out how to do it right. And so my husband and I, we actually took food safety certification classes, learning more about pH balance and the safety of the product. And then it got to where I found the perfect bottle for the product, so there was no waste as consumers poured it out. And then we actually hired our friend that came to our home kitchen watching me make it out of here. We hired him to take over the production of our company once we landed that commercial facility to produce it in. And Chad has, a lot of expertise in food safety management. And I basically handed him over my recipe for him to make it obviously in much larger quantities and work through that process of making sure that it tasted just like it did when I was making it. And from there, we've got it third-party lab tested. We've actually invested the resources to have our products tested. I think it's really important for people to understand just the inefficiencies of especially dietary supplements not being regulated as much as they should be. And I wanted consumers to feel completely confident and trust us as a brand. And that's why I was adamant about putting resources into getting it third-party lab tested, not only for the safety, but also, the purity, the potency, the freshness, so that we could know every detail about our products before putting them on the shelves for consumers.
And that's a great lesson to other entrepreneurs out there. It's perfectly fine to start in your own home kitchen, but at some point, if your brand is starting to catch on, you have to take the next steps in order to ensure the consistency. Every batch is going to be similar, the same, and it'll be safely kind of manufactured so that, you don't want anything to happen to anybody.
Absolutely.
So now you mentioned some ways your brand is different. Are there other ways that your brand is different than the other elderberry syrups out there?
Yeah, so the Power of Elderberries, we produce the elderberry syrup along with our newly launched elderberry gummies. Both products are made using premium organic ingredients and abundance of South Carolina local raw honey. We actually work with 2 beekeepers that bring our honey to us. Like mentioned, our products have been third-party lab tested. They're vegetarian friendly and provide a powerhouse of immune boosting properties. Our products have over 700 milligrams of elderberries per serving, which is very potent. And kids absolutely love the taste. You can take our products daily, seasonally, or when you're symptomatic. The benefits are endless. We have 3 children ages 9, 7, and 5, and not one has ever had a sick doctor's visit or been on an antibiotic since taking our products. As far as differences in brands, I know there's a lot of elderberry products out there, so it can be very cumbersome for, consumers to choose what is the best product. As far as the differences, we don't use any kind of refined sugar, high fructose corn syrup, tapioca syrup. There's no artificial sweeteners, flavors, dyes. We don't have any kind of filler or thickener in our products, no gelatin, and they're not made using any kind of concentrate. So these products are handcrafted, really using the purest ingredients from nature. Not only are you getting the local raw honey, the organic black elderberries, but we also put organic ginger root, organic cinnamon sticks, and organic whole cloves. So it's not just the power of elderberries, which is very potent in our product, but you're also reaping the antiviral, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory properties of all those different spices, as well as the honey in our product. Just kind of breaking down the differences between our syrup and gummies compared to others. A lot of elderberry syrups or wellness syrups on the shelves, they're on the shelves at retailers. You're going to actually find our product refrigerated, and that's because we choose to add no preservatives to it. So it has to be kept refrigerated. So that's one of the biggest differences. Also, you're not going to find any sediment collection at the bottom of our bottles. So some elderberry syrups will use like powdered ginger root or powdered cinnamon. We don't use any powder, and therefore you don't have to shake our bottle before you consume it. So it has a really smooth taste. We also don't bottle at extremely high temperatures. And so what that does, it ensures our customers are reaping all the benefits of the local raw honey that is used in our elderberry syrup. And then as far as our elderberry gummies, these are really a unicorn product to the market. There are other elderberry gummies on the market. But what we found with comparing ours to others, most that we've compared them to have either 25 or 50 milligrams of elderberry per one gummy. Our one gummy sits at 238 milligrams. Is that not crazy? So it's about 8 to 9 times the potency just in the one gummy itself. They're also gelatin-free, so it's a great vegetarian-friendly non-gelatin gummy. We're using what's called organic agar-agar to bind it together instead of any kind of animal byproduct. And so it gives the gummy actually a different texture where it's not real chewy. It doesn't get stuck in your teeth. It's not coated in sugar. So we really refer to it as natural ordinary gummy simply because of the differences there. And then most gummies are sweetened with, refined sugar or high fructose corn syrup. And just like our elderberry syrup, we're only using that local raw honey in our elderberry gummies. And that's really what makes them that unicorn product to the market.
Now, talk a little bit about some of the challenges you faced as a female founder. Are you involved in any of the maybe women certification systems like WeBank or GWBC? And if so, have they helped you at all in the growth of your company?
Absolutely. I am WeBank certified and certified WBE. It has helped us tremendously with just the opportunities, getting connected with corporate sponsors. I'm actually in a pitch competition right now, and I made it to the final round that I'll be doing here very, very soon. So I'm excited for that opportunity to share the power of elderberries with others. But I will say, when I began this journey as a business owner, I was a full-time lecturer at Coastal Carolina University, and along with having 3 children, it made leading my team particularly very challenging. The area I had to grow and to overcome this challenge was really setting aside my pride and releasing the need to do it all and having that control. I had to learn to ask for help. My husband, Jake, he's been my number one cheerleader from the very beginning of this business. And within 7 months of making my first order of elderberry syrup in our home kitchen, he actually resigned from his financial planning career to support me on this new adventure of entrepreneurship. So his just willingness to jump in and help wherever the need is really something that I'll never take for granted. And I know as women, we often believe we can do it all. 4 months into starting this business, I remember sitting on the couch with my husband after we had put the kids to bed. And I just looked at him and I was like, you either have to quit your job or I'm going to have to shut all of this down. I just can't keep going like this. And then to my surprise, he said yes. And if we can find a commercial kitchen, then you got it. And so in addition to his support, I also reached out to friends who had skills and expertise in areas that I did not. And that definitely helped excel the business leaps and bounds. So my advice would just be to just not be afraid to ask for help, whether it's a friend, a neighbor, an acquaintance, or a loved one. Just communicate openly about what your needs are and then let God move.
With the right partners, you can do anything.
That's right. It's been amazing.
Now, if somebody wanted to learn more about the power of elderberries, what's the website?
Yeah, so our website is thepowerofelderberries.com. We actually have over 70 retailers that carry our products. So there is a tab that you can find a retailer near you, or we do ship nationwide as well. And I wanted to offer to all the listeners out there a 10% off coupon code from any order off our website, and they can use promo code GWBC10 to receive that 10% off. And then I also encourage people to follow us on Instagram or Facebook to learn more about the benefits of elderberries and our products. And we're also going to be coming out with a new referral program very soon as well.
Well, Jessica, thank you so much for sharing your story. You're doing important work, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really, really appreciate the opportunity to share the power of elderberries with others.
All right, this is Lee Cantor. We will see you all next time.